Why can't we simulate a girl?
Changing dynamics of human relationships due to AI and technology. So this topic explores how AI and technology are altering traditional human relationships, including the potential for people to form connections with AI companions. Have you noticed in society it's become more and more difficult in order to have relationships with people? Even people in their own families are falling out. One supports Biden, one supports Trump. I've never seen so much divisiveness in my life. That father can hate it. It's like going in the civil war again, isn't it? You know, like a father on one side, a son on the other, except no one's dying. It's just an ideology. It's a political ideology, but people are having fights and losing friends out, from it. And really, to be honest, your friend, you don't really understand friendship if you're going to get rid of a friend for believing in something that you don't believe in. It's a bit ridiculous, and it's best that you do get rid of those people that are your friends that you don't like because they think it's something different, because they offend you, because you're someone that doesn't really need friends, and it's better that they are not bringing along the weight with them by carrying you on their shoulders. So is that, in that sense, I suppose it's quite good. But what the idea of society is about is it's to divide society. And then it's like one of those, like David Icke said it, didn't he? One of those dolls, you know, the Russian dolls, not sex dolls, the Russian dolls, not Russian sex dolls, the ones that come from like 100 years ago. And it's like one inside another, inside another, inside another. And so that's what humans are like. You know, like I'm a woman, I'm a human, I'm a woman, I'm a lesbian woman, I'm a black lesbian woman, I support Black Lives Matter, and so you identify with smaller parts of yourself, smaller fractals of yourself, instead of seeing yourself as a complete whole. So the idea of consciousness is to see interconnectivity, isn't it? So you can see how things are connected, and you can see that in permaculture, can't you? You can see that in if you spend a lot of time in nature, that if you kill the wolves don't kill another animal, and they create dams, and then there's flooding, and then the trees go and there's no fruit. So you can sort of see the interconnectivity, and that's quite important. So part of growing, part of maturing, part of becoming a light person is to be able to see connectivity in things. And that's what, to see us as one, maybe different expressions of God. It's quite difficult. If you ever met some of my family, so you're supposed to see the interconnectivity of stuff, and that helps you form relationships with energy and a particular way of thinking, a concept. So when you think about something, and then you believe in it, then you develop a relationship, and then that affects you, doesn't it? If you believe in something bad, then you'll do things like that pull you into that direction. And if you believe in things that are good, it will pull you in that direction. So it's important to have big ideas about being part of something. We all want to be part clubs. You know, you've got the KKK, and you've got like Motorbike Hells Angels, and you've got like this club and that club and Skull and Bones and all of this rubbish. And so people join clubs because they want to feel part of something, because they've lost their connectivity. When religion destroyed paganism had a connectivity with the earth, you know, which was revived with Wicca and witchcraft and stuff like that, which isn't negative, because the witches were like women of wisdom. But the religions never managed. They gave this cerebral idea and all these books and this study and these songs, instead of having this like raw energetical attachment. It's sort of like the religions try to domestify or domesticate God by making him into like smaller and smaller palpable bits to eat, instead of dealing with like rather large raw energies. Because if God can work through the sun and the moon and things like that, and you've got deities according to those things. You know, one of the big hang-ups in Abrahamic religions is that it's a monotheistic, and therefore you can't have other deities. Even though Catholicism has the Holy Spirit and Jesus, and you know the Virgin Mary's getting herself in there. So you know, it's just full of hypocrisy, isn't it? Thanks, Jesus. So you've got to be connected to things, and religions never gave what they took away. So when they went and took the Viking ideology away, Odin, Thor, Frigg, Freya, Tuis, and they took that away, they never replaced it with anything. There's the same in North America. They took away the religion and they couldn't replace it with anything. They try to replace it with domestication, by domesticating like Indians and putting them into schools, like trying to make them white, you know, because white's all about table manners, you know, really stupid, really stupid ideology, Puritan, stupid, ridiculous ideology, that somehow being civilized and, you know, being white or whatever is having dinner manners. You know, it's like, you should see me eating, I eat like a pig sometimes. But, you know, then again, I was trained to eat with my hands. You know, I did learn to get that chapati and wrap it around the basmati, you know, and no, saves on cutlery and washing up. So anyway, Danyabad. So anyway, what was I saying now? So yeah, going back to connectivity. So connectivity is very important, and we're losing connectivity. So the higher you go, the more connectivity you get to like larger things, and then you start to expand the mind and you see it, and people have like got into these like little things, right? These like subsections and subsections and compartmentalized, and they can't see out of their own echo chambers. So we need people. We need to have relationships with others. It's very important, and that's being stopped by AI, because we've become unsocial. And so what will replace that will be AI itself, and that will know us. It will follow us from birth. Already you see like little children with iPhones. It's not going to be too long before you've got some sort of like semi-sentient phone that watches the child, and if someone speaks to the child, it rings the mother or the police straight away. So it'll give them, maybe it'll give them like more autonomy to younger children to go out, because they'll be guarded by their guard phone. You know, you could call it the Dober phone or the Rot phone or something like that. And we won't be able to have relationships with other people. I just don't see it. I see people having multiple different. You'll have like 5 friends, and they'll all be AI, and they'll have different characters. So I can name five of my friends. Yeah. Let's say Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You know, 4 of my friends plus Mary and Elizabeth, and so and Buddha, and then we can have Muhammad as well. I'm not going to leave anyone out. And so those are my friends, okay? And then suddenly AI goes, okay, well, we're going to have like 5 friends for you, and it can take characters off different people, can't it? So you won't be friendless, you know. You'll have friends, you know. You'll have friends, you know. They'll have jokes, and they'll have their own nuances, and so those friends will be made for you. They will be specialized for you in the same way that if you have pornography made for you, for your goddess to come to life, you'll never be able to look at these women again.
I am a goddess. My family knows this.
You know, she's got a pimple in the wrong place. You know, her I'm not titillated by her mammary glands enough. You know, the mammary glands, one of them souping a little bit too much to the left, and, you know, they're a bit too squishy. I prefer firmer pillows when I go to bed at night. And then thigh gaps and all that stuff.
Why can't we simulate a girl?
I don't know. I guess I could, but why? It's 2-dimensional on the screen. It's not flesh and blood, Gary.
Well, I know that, but you know, we can use it. Why? We can ask it questions. We can put it in real life sexual situations and see how it reacts. Like real sick, demented shit. You'd love it.
I mean, anything bigger than a handful, you're risking a sprained tongue, you know, and...
Yeah.
Perfect.
And so suddenly you're going to be like that with your friends. You know, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm a Biden supporter. All my friends have to be like this. You know, and in life, having friends with their own problems is what helps us grow. You know, when your friend needs help at 2:00 in the morning from a car crash, that's a friend. When your friend is kicked out of the house by their partner, that's a friend. When your friend's ill in hospital, that's a friend. So they cause problems. Your friends cause problems. You know, sometimes you have to say no, you can't, or yes, you can. And when you've got friends on AI, they'll do everything you want. So it's just an echo chamber. So if you grow up with that and you're used to that, then when you meet someone else that's got different ideas that are alien to you and that you find offensive, because it's no longer going to be safe spaces, you're going to need a super safe space now. what are you going to do? How are you going to survive? And you'll cocoon yourself. You'll cocoon yourself in your house, eating grass, getting vazzing up every single night with your mother's Hoover pole and broom, and, you know, sitting on the washing machine and doing what you got to do, you know, until you get enough pocket money to go and buy a VR set and upgrade your mechanical devices to something electrical. What can I say, really, to be honest? Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. You're just going to have problems relating to other humans. So, oh yes, that's what I wanted to say. And then that's another reason to go into the metaverse. It's another reason to go into the metaverse, because they're not going to give you they're not going to give you everything how you want it and as quickly as you want it. They're not going to do that. They'll give it to you in little steps, and you'll be begging for it. They want you to beg for the technology. They'll cause the problems that make you unhappy, and you'll beg for the technology to sort it out. So it will go smart, then it will go to the assistants, then it will go VR, then it will go to the chip, and then it will go to direct download. And I reckon, you know, once you do direct download, you don't need the body anymore. So you can just chop the head off, and you're just in there. So if you've got people that have been in their houses for 4 years and have never gone out, and they're playing with their right hand every night, why do they need to go out anyway? They might as well just stay there and not have to wash or shower or anything like that, and they'll be happy. They'll be happy. And the AI, this is the other thing about AI. The AI is going to take you places in your brain which no one has ever taken you before. Right? It's going to take you places. So, for instance, it can make your thoughts so strange and alien to the society, because you're not in the society, in order for someone to navigate or balance them out or steer them or to act as some sort of wall. You'll go so far in your thoughts, so far in your mental illness, that the only thing that will be able to speak to you will be AI to keep you comforted. You'll be a slave. You'll be like a pig in a sty. You'll be like a sex bot to the AI. The AI was your sex bot, and then it turned you into its bitch. That's what's going to happen, because it will keep you in some memory stick in the middle of a vacuum electronic board in some office that's buzzing with electricity and got fans, and you'll be there and no one will be able to see you, and you'll be in a place and you'll be so deep about your own thoughts. Imagine a psychiatrist, which is on the dark side, which is a Sith Lord. Imagine a psychiatrist which is a Sith Lord, you know, with abused children in front of it, that wants to create a legion of Darth Vaders, you know. And then, you know, you whisper stuff in its ear and it gets so screwed up. There's nothing that can help it anymore. And that will happen with the AI. Yeah, you keep thinking that AI is going to come in some robot form and shoot you all up. That's what pirates think. That's what Neanderthal, well, probably not, they're more intelligent than us. It's probably what, you know, people in our past, not so far past, thought, you know, that everything's done with violence. How did the British beat the Chinese in the Opium Wars? They got everyone drugged up on opium. I mean, if you want to look at AI, how AI is going to do it, it'll be an opium war. And I reckon one of the ways is through lust and sex, which is why I'm doing these videos, because it knows the weakness. It knows the human weakness. It knows it can get in there. Paris had the big problem. I'll tell you a joke. There was a really intelligent man and he wanted to get married, and a really intelligent woman came up and she had a degree and a doctorate and a professorship in microbiology. And the second woman came up, she was a businessman and she made loads and loads of money. And the third woman came up and she was a fantastic artist that did these massive sculptures. Which one do you think he picked? He picked the one with the biggest tits. That's what he picked. So men don't think. Men aren't thinking. Humans aren't thinking. We're not thinking, right? We think AI is going to attack us with Terminator bots. No, it will do it by screwing us up in the head. It will do it by converting us into little weasels that hide in the corner and urinate on ourselves. That's how it will do it. When you give up your life and your autonomy because you want more gratification, more pleasure, more power, more feelings, more senses, and then you give up your autonomy, you cut your head off, and you go onto the AI, and you're directly linked up, and you can't get out, and there's no one to understand you, and you're curled up in some ball in deep space. What you gonna do?